Hey everyone, welcome back to The Truth About Us. This is the show where we stop pretending, we stop hiding, and we finally start telling the truth. The truth about who we are, what we feel, and what we are actually carrying on the inside. I'm your host, Don Crampert from Unstoppable Life, and today's episode is going to be a good one. It's one that every man needs to hear, especially the ones of us, and I say us, who've been trying to keep it together for far too long. And this episode is called You're Not Broken. Because despite what life has thrown at us, at you and me, despite the hits that we've taken, despite the mistakes and the losses and some of the disappointments, we're not broken. And today, we're going to talk about why what feels like damage is often the very thing that makes us whole. And we're going to go into that. So first, this is the lie that we've learned to believe. So us men, we learned early that the world doesn't really have a lot of patience for our pain and our struggles. So what do? We adapt. We armor up. We stay busy. We laugh things off. We handle it. And somewhere along the line and down the road, we start believing a lie. It's called something like this. The thing that happened to me damaged me. Or that thing I did, that really broke me. Or, geez, that damn failure, that really defined me. That loss, it ruined me. Well, all those are lies. And because we don't say it out loud and we hear it all the time, it grows inside us like a weed and like rust. So some of you listening right now, you may have spent years, and I know I have, walking around with one quiet, heavy belief. Something is wrong with me. And so, I'm going to be honest. I've said this to myself for many years, and I've actually believed it myself, thought it was true. And this really happened when I transferred out of the Navy. I retired after my 30 years of active duty service, and all the successes and all the support and all the experiences and wisdom that I had accumulated with did not longer work in any circumstance. And something changed, and I was unable to figure it out. This setback after setback kept telling me, I'm broken. Here's the truth. Nothing was really wrong with me, and nothing's wrong with you either. There are parts of us that are unacknowledged, I'll call it, and unhealed and misunderstood. We're not broken. We're human, you guys. And the fact that you're still here, still trying, we're still searching, that tells me and you everything we need to know about our strengths and about ourselves. So here I want to kind of point out the difference between damage and development, because there's a moment in every man's life when we look in the mirror and we see all the scars at once. And it's not just physical ones, but the emotional ones. And I'll list them down and see if this resonates with you. The divorce, the betrayal, the career setback, the addiction, the childhood wound, the moment we lost someone that we loved. Or how about maybe the dream that didn't work out? Maybe a person that we used to be, the man we thought we'd become, and that huge gap between the two. Those moments don't break us, fellas. They shape us. So what we called damaged is often the moment the real version of us begins to emerge. Remember, pressure doesn't break things, it forms things. You've heard of these, diamonds, steel. Well, our identity is the same way. And yes, the version of us that's still under construction. So our pain didn't end with us. It introduced us to ourselves. So this is the truth about becoming whole. And I use this very strongly, and you've got to understand that many of us men, there's something that we need to hear here, okay? Wholeness isn't perfection. Wholeness isn't the absence of a pain or struggle. And wholeness isn't having it all figured out. Wholeness is integration. It's realizing that every version of us, you and me, the boy who we were, the man who we pretended to be, the man who we became, and the man we're still becoming, they all belong to the same story. We become whole when we stop fighting our past and live in it and start listening to it. So we become whole when we stop seeing our scars as something to hide, and then we start seeing them as reminders that we lived through it. We become whole when we stop saying, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to show me?" We don't need to be fixed. We need to be understood, and especially by ourselves. That's where it starts. So this is kind of the moment everything changes, and it changed for me. I'll tell you, it changed quickly when I understood this. There's a moment, it could be maybe today for you, when you realize that you're not starting over at zero. We're not starting all over. If we were, we'd still be children. Okay? We're starting from our wisdom, from our experience, from our resilience, from truth. And from this point forward, that's how life changes. Not because magically everything gets easier, but because you finally stop carrying the weight of believing you're broken beyond repair. And guess what? We're not. We're the result of every storm that did not sink us or destroy us. And that, my friend, makes you stronger than you think and more capable than you realize. So what do we do next? Well, we're going to impart a thing I call the integration step. And this is something that this episode is hitting home right now. This is your next step. We have to stop running from the parts of us that struggle and hurt. We need to be able to sit with them and listen to them. And what they're actually trying to teach us, we have to acknowledge that. Because what feels like that broken piece of us is usually the doorway to the empowerment, the grounded, the confident person, the man we're trying to become. And when you integrate that pain, you transform it. When you acknowledge the wound, you stop bleeding from it. When you stop seeing yourself as broken, we finally start building the life that we were meant to live. So today, my friends, I want you to carry this truth with you. You're not broken. You're just unfinished, just like me. And that is a beautiful space and place to be. Because unfinished means there's more ahead. There's more strength. There's more clarity. There's more purpose. There's more of us. So, I want to thank you for joining me on The Truth About Us today. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another guy who needs to hear that. He's not broken either. Tune in next week as we'll be diving into another powerful segment I call When I'm Fine is a Lie. Because I'll break down why men hide between those two words and the cost we pay for pretending we're okay. Until then, be honest, be real, be unafraid to look at the parts of you that deserve to be understood. Because the truth is, you're not broken. You're becoming whole. And this is the truth about us.